iOS 10 is coming this summer, and since it is the 10th version of Apple's mobile operating system, it could be a pretty big deal. Hey, what's up everyone, CTNtechnologynews here, and today I'm going to be running you through what you should expect to see in Apple's upcoming operating system. So Apple is actually testing iOS 10 right now, meaning that it is on track for another June release date at the company's Worldwide Developers Conference. The official iOS 10 announcement is expected to happen at the WWDC 2016 keynote, with an introduction by Craig Federici. Now it's going to be interesting to see what devices Apple decides to support with iOS 10, because iOS 9 actually was the first upgrade in a while that didn't cut out any devices when it launched in September. The iPhone 4S and the iPad 2 still work with the latest operating system update. Unfortunately, this probably won't happen again given the simple fact that iOS 10 probably will require more than 512 MB of RAM. So when it comes to features, there are a lot of new upgrades rumored for iOS 10. One of the biggest things that Apple's probably going to be wanting to do with their operating system is just make 3D Touch more relevant. This made its debut with the new iPhone 6s and iPhone 6s Plus, but it just seemed a little bit underwhelming when it was launched. More apps now use it than they did at the time, but it could just still stand to have a better reason to exist. With iOS 10, Apple's probably going to be wanting to try and implement 3D Touch, especially into the control center. So for instance, if you press the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth on-screen button, it would pop out the respective settings menus. Apple's done a good job over the years by sliding opaque menus into view without requiring you to exit apps, and these control center buttons would basically work along the same principle. There are also some very unlikely rumors that Apple would just get rid of the home button altogether and replace it with an on-screen 3D Touch button, and it's not a popular theory, but it could potentially happen, and this would definitely be a huge feature in iOS 10 if this was the case. And speaking of the home button, Apple's probably going to want to revamp Touch ID for iOS 10. Make no mistake, Touch ID works really well, it's faster than ever on Apple's latest iPhones, but it could almost be just a little bit too quick for its own good. Some owners of the iPhone 6s Plus have been complaining that they light up their phones with the home button only to see their notifications vanish. iOS 9 made notifications easier to view in the pull-down menu by sorting them in chronological order rather than by group, but an easier way to wake the phone may also be in order. LG and HTC use a double tap the screen to wake method that makes the entire display a big button. That would definitely solve the disappearing notifications problem for Apple, and I would definitely expect to see this feature implemented as iOS 10 rolls out and then the iPhone 7 is released next fall. Now another thing to expect with iOS 10 is an improved version of Siri. Apple generally upgrades Siri every year, and this time Siri may become your true personal assistant by handling your voicemails. One huge iOS 10 rumor going around right now is that Siri could actually tell a caller why you can't pick up the phone, and even transcribe voicemail messages so you can read them on the go or in loud venues. This Siri voicemail service is actually part of a bigger thing called iCloud voicemail, according to a recent report from Business Insider, and it's basically an enhancement of the standard digital audio recorder. Apple isn't planning to launch a mobile network just yet, but this feature, if it is a part of iOS 10, will definitely get the company one step closer to doing just that. But with that said, the last big rumor about iOS 10 right now is that it could actually be adding multi-user support. So Apple did a really nice job upgrading iOS 9 for its iPad line, because adding things like split-screen multitasking and better Bluetooth keyboard support made a big difference. But there's one thing that Apple still hasn't given its fan base, and that's multi-user support. This is something that Android tablets have had for a while, and it's sorely missing on Apple devices. iOS 10 could be just the time to do it. Given that the iPad Pro just launched, and it's way more than a personal device, a lot of businesses and artist-filled studios might buy into the supersized idea if this could happen. I mean, the ability to have different users on a single device is really helpful, and even though Apple has generally been opposed to this in the past, I really think it could definitely help expand the functionality of the iPad Pro and the iPad Air for both personal and business use. But anyways, those are the big upgrades rumored for iOS 10 right now. Apple will probably also add some more minor things like an improved volume controller, cache and orientation bug fixes, and maybe even an expanded version of Apple News, and I'm definitely interested to see what else Apple will ultimately end up adding. In the meantime, definitely let me know what you want to see in iOS 10 in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you want to see more of these iOS 10 rumor videos in the future, and I will see you next time.